Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 176 of my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. I'm IVATOPIA. This is my Let's Play of it, of course, and let's carry on talking to this dude. Okay, you toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish. Seems to me we're still in the dark. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives. You're right about that much. There are certain questions that have to be asked. I have no interest in arguing about this.
Indeed. Many lives have been spent in such pursuits, writing treatises and poems. But tell me this, how does one verify the truth of a poem? If some philosopher stumbled across the meaning of our existence, how would we know it from a false one? These are wasted lives. In Animancy there is progress. We are measurably closer to complete understanding because of our work. And that will be true until our work is complete.
Okay.
Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
You didn't know that. Same. Trace experience on any other subjects? Heard you were demoted. How'd that happen? I have. Yes. No point in lying about it. Now that Evermore's involved, I asked for volunteers from our patients. And a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understand that. They understand that sacrifice would mean some sacrifice. It's killing them. What these are for. You demoted, how did it happen? Astro's nostrils flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Armor, the smug weasel? Things went wrong, everything. I don't know. How? I never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. System off. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. Don't have that. Seen your records. I know what you're doing with them. So you can basically get them on the side, them into your experiments for it. Told me everything. I've been given permission to conduct my investigation down here. You best cooperate. I've seen your records.
Those are private. You have no right.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath and deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Looking for an expert? You can do that now. I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else. Nice. The man who waits. Interview grammar just to the same. Spit these guys up. Okay. Okay, let's shut the door behind us so no lunatics escape. Okay. Is this my face? Tell me! Thundering sky, rains of blood, innocent must drown. Well, calm down, shush. Gone? Graham, this man has look in his eyes of a haunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backwards to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out a bizarre primal urgency, like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you some questions. You can't hide from me. Then a key spy. Questions go without. Graham looks at you blankly. It's unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible. In other words, they are impossible. That's my tongue to be cut out. They are impossible for you to basically decipher what he's saying, if indeed they are words at all. It makes a noise of disgust. Those Animancers did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling. Ran experiments on you against your will, didn't he? Said you were being treated by karma. There are things I need to know from you. I'm going to learn them whether or not you can speak. Then he looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tenderly, he steps closer to the front of the cell, and as he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your ken. Within your ken, it is misshapen as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gorged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you want to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Yeah. You project your out towards the main soul in front of you, merging with it. It's confused and fear becomes yours as it winks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rooting, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons. That's Asen, isn't the one I spoke to, apologetically. You don't want to go. Anything else in your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall. Cornered, you cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraint. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meagre flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. Graham's saying it. They dismantled his work, and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Okay, so the man's saying it to him. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. So they dismantled his work and needs another source. So basically, when he had his experiment and it went wrong, they dismantled everything he did, and now he's getting raw materials from his source, probably it's broken and that from him. So he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having incised chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Continue searching. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with you. Sorry, first one funny. I'll have a drink quick. There we go. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. Like a shed snakeskin. Oh, okay, I get it. The boy looks with interest at the giant and then collapses to the floor like a shed. So basically, he's looking at the giant and then he collapses, like a snakeskin's come off to shed it. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away and leaves. The couple from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Speak to the patient at the end of the hall. Also, he's the giant. We'll just check on the others first, if there is any. It's going to be up here probably, though. Oh, this
poor people.
What?
This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets.
Yeah, I know, calm down.
Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
Calm down. They made great advances here. I'm sure they know what they're doing. No, they're torturing. I understand they're trying to find a cure for this thing, but you don't need to torture people to do it. These animators are as mad as their patients. These are lunatics and wazzles. At least here they serve some purpose. Maybe it is. How would you know? I doubt the wealthier citizens had the same experience. Mad as their patients. But if all were treated like this, the Santum would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditioning? They don't have. There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. Here's the source of all that knowledge you were so giddy about. So what the Ingans did with their knowledge of souls, why should these animals be any different? Some are cured, so at least I'll say that. I hope so. kind of takes a deep breath. You're probably right. It's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place knows at the soul. To me, there's other methods of helping these people instead of torturing them. So some of the ones who aren't as bad get helped. And they obviously get sorted. But then you get the ones who are really bad, who I don't know the best way to help them. But these people, I don't think they're being used as experiments for him to help with something else, and he's forcing them. They're not volunteers. That's my thing. If they were honestly volunteering for this, it'd be different. But I don't think they are. Like wouldn't be. No, stay away from me. And if he's a volunteer, would he? That's good. Willowy adolescent boy stands in the center. Oh, he was the boy who collapsed. Oh, okay. I thought it was Graham. It was him. Okay. Stands in the center of his cell, garish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead. The occasional blink is only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy doe-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and purpose easily bypassed, if you should wish. Reach him. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul, and as you near a sudden malice comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath as you did on the caravan journey. The soul and approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanctum. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting as at the far end of the ward the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time. The misgotten child of despondent creators. So I got a feeling we'll probably fight this golem at some point. When the construct is closed, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapse into the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing towards the golem now, borderless as the gust of wind. Quickly you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implant it within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavily footed down corridors unheeded by the other constructions and scrutinized only by the wary, trustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the implementation of advanced. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work bending wires and settling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them and they dissolve into the blur. When settled into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you have tampered with. Oh, okay. So basically, I think the gist of this, he was the boy, he collapsed, the golem's there, I got out of him, got into the golem, and I'm seeing what's inside the golem now. And we're about to see this accident, what happens. You see tampered with, you see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl. He's tormenting a little girl. But this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacant. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. He's trying to put a soul into her, isn't he? The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says as he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's appreciation quickly gives way to awe as the crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theatre aglow. He opens a valve, and the globe crawls through a tube along the length of copper wiring and runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray poetically for some time, altering notes and setting and playing puppeteer for hollowborns. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientific concern. This isn't his assistant, is it? Remember in the other room there was an assistant, and he's experimenting on her, and she's been, because she'll have access to his equipment, to his stuff, to change it so it's not really affecting her and sabotaging him. Looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. And with that gasp, we're going to end this episode. So like, subscribe, good stuff, and tune in next week, please. When you subscribe, hit the little bell, and please share. And if you want to comment, you can. And have a great, amazing, wonderful, spectacular day. Bye.